That's what when I first started, I told my developers, I was like, well, I've created a Squarespace account. And they're like, this will not be on Squarespace. They're like, you can't have this on Squarespace. I was like, oh.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number.
Hello, Let's Bloom Babes. Welcome back to another episode of Petunias Podcast. I'm Liv, owner of Petunias Planning, currently a bride-to-be myself and a local wedding planner. Today, we have someone so exciting on the podcast. We have Miss Mikayla Patterson. She is the founder of AllVeil, a brand new wedding website that she's going to tell you all about today. So, do you want to introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm Mikayla. Like you said, I'm the founder of AllVeil. We launched on February 13th to brides all across Tennessee. We currently have over 100 vendors, and it's completely free to brides. It's been something I've been working on for over a year now, and it's finally here for brides to use. And it's been so exciting this year having it, hearing from our vendors, hearing from our brides, and I'm excited to tell you more about it. So
yeah, I'm so glad to have something like,
thank you.
Here for our local brides, because it is hard. And then the other websites, I feel like are really they're not feasible for everybody. The fees and stuff is just so expensive, and then with how oversaturated they are, it's like, what's the point? So you're really offering people something really awesome here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we'll get more into it, but I can go on a whole spiel of things with
all
that.
Day. Okay, so where are you from? How did you get into the West Tennessee wedding scene?
So I've honestly lived a little bit of everywhere. So I'm from McKenzie, Tennessee, and that's where I grew up, born and raised until I was 18. Then I went to college for 2 years in Chattanooga. So I was in Chattanooga for 2 years, and then I transferred to UTM. So I've lived in Martin for 2 years as well. Now I'm stationed in Columbia, Tennessee. So it's about an hour south of Nashville.
Okay.
And so I've basically hit every corner of Tennessee at this point. So, but no, we love it. All of my family's from West Tennessee. So to be honest, I probably come back to West Tennessee honestly, close to once a month. Just because.
Lots of travel.
Yep. I love my family, and the interstate knows me very well at this point. So.
Yeah, whenever I went, I always went up, Purchase Parkway.
Yes.
So you're traveling a totally different way than I.
Yeah, I actually,
Nashville.
Every single time I get off of Parker's Crossroad and go through Huntington every time.
Yeah, that's the way that my fiance always liked to go. We went totally different ways.
Yeah, so once a month you see me at Parker's Crossroad probably.
Yeah. So did you get married in West Tennessee?
I did. We actually got married in Troy, Tennessee.
Okay.
So we had a December wedding. It was beautiful, very rural in West Tennessee. And that's really the reason why I started AllVeil, was because when I was getting married, there's some vendors that you want.
Yes.
There's some vendors that your friend does it, or you've seen them on Instagram, and that happens especially with photographers, is you'll see their work on Facebook and be like, that's the person I want. But for a lot of other vendors, I just did not know. I did not know who they were, what they did. And so there was, I would say, probably 5 to 10 vendors where I was like, I haven't lived around Troy or Union City or Martin, and I was like, I don't know really what are the best vendors for this.
Find these people?
Yep. And so I ended up stalking on Instagram and going on Facebook groups and asking people on Facebook groups, and then the comment section was flooded with all of these different recommendations, and then I'd have to see through all those recommendations, and I'd have to stalk their profiles and stalk their websites, and then some of them, especially catering, for whatever reason, I was like, I know there's some caterers, but I know there's also restaurants that cater that I'm just completely missing because they either don't have the marketing or I just don't know of them. And so by the time I got to probably a week before my wedding, I looked at my husband, I was like, how many hours have I spent researching vendors?
Yeah.
Even with the comments, so many brides will go straight to a group and say, looking for this. And then they spend hours going through all the comments. And so that was me. And I was doing that same thing on socials and Google. And so I was
It's
planning.
so tiring.
It is so tiring, and it's so overwhelming. The options are so overwhelming.
Yes.
And so I tried other wedding vendor websites, and there was nothing there. There was nothing there in the area that we were in. And most at the time, this was probably like 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. But all of the ones that were coming up were either out of Nashville or Memphis. And I was like, I can't afford their travel fees to here. So I got off of those like really quick. I realized that in like 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And so the question came to me as to, one, why aren't rural vendors using these platforms? And two, why isn't there something better for brides in rural and suburban areas? I was getting married, so I was like, this is a different thought until after the wedding. And then a couple of months later, we worked with some developers that were out of Tennessee Tech for my day job. And so I just came to him one day and I was like, I have this idea. And I was like, I asked my dad how, if he thought it was a good idea. My dad's like, Mikayla, that's an amazing idea.
Yeah,
I'm like,
do it.
Yeah, I'm like, well, you're my dad. I'm like, that's great. You think it's a great idea. Same thing with my husband. My husband's like, that's a great idea. I was like, you're my husband.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I asked him, he was like, no, like this is an area that's needed and there's nothing for it. So we started building it around April, and it took a lot of time just because a lot of people.
You got it out in less than a year. So that's really impressive.
A lot of people don't realize like how much work goes into building a website like that. Like this isn't just like a Squarespace where you put in information. Like there's so much coding on the back end.
Yeah, and it's very specific. I mean, just like your little filter tab at the top. You can look for anything, anytime, any price.
One thing about me though is I'm very like OCD to where like if I have an idea, it's going to happen. And so even before we started building, I had it all already built in my mind and I showed them. Like I was like, this is what I want. This is what the filter should be. This is what a bride will want to see. Like this is how it should be organized. And they're like, well, you made our job pretty easy because like we don't have to design anything. You already designed it all. But so I realized
design's the hard part though.
Yes.
So
I knew what I wanted it to look like and I wanted it to be super easy for brides to use. But once I figured out, what the reasoning was and why, vendors weren't using it, I was like, okay, like I have to create this. Like there's so many brides who feel this way, like how I felt planning my own wedding. And I was like, this is just something that's super needed for rural areas. So that's really how the idea came to be, was just because I struggled so much with my own wedding doing it in West Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
So it was very exciting.
Yeah. And everyone has the same exact problem. I see I'm in 50 cajillion bridal Facebook groups and every day, can you help me find a DJ? Can I find a caterer? Yeah. And comments flooded. There's 11,000 comments and each one is a different vendor's name.
Hundreds. Yeah. And it's just like,
and we're so saturated with vendors in our area, but they're all so specific. Yes. So it's nice to be able to find. My favorite part of AllVeil is at the bottom where it shows how many weddings people have worked.
Yes.
I love that I can see like how experienced you are.
Yes. And the reason that we added that too is because like one of our vendors, shout out Moonlight Barbecue. One of our vendors, they kind of talked to us and was like, we haven't done any weddings yet, but we want to get into it. And those vendors, like especially ones who are doing catering or something, like they cook good food. Oh, yeah. This is just something that they want to start getting into. And so, you may see prices and be like, oh, they're really cheap. Like why are they so little? And then say, oh, they've only done 2 weddings or they've only done 1 wedding. And so that makes you think like, okay, like, if this is my budget and their food is great, like I should give them a shot. Oh yeah. And so that's why we decided to include that. So people understood like, the price is going to be higher for vendors who have done, 100 weddings, Definitely. 200 weddings. But, these vendors who are in your budget, who may be a little less expensive, still give them a shot. Mm-hmm. Like their food's good, their price is in your range. So like, do it. And they've gotten 2 quote requests, I believe. And so it's like,
awesome.
Yeah. And so it's like, just because you haven't done a wedding doesn't mean you're not going to get a quote request
Mhm.
in, you're going to fit someone's budget.
Yeah.
So that's been awesome.
Yeah, it's like a little personal accomplishment, you know.
Yes.
Every time I go on there, because I worked 3 weddings since I made my account, so I go up there every time. Like that's the first thing I do after a wedding is change my number on AllVeil.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cute. I love to hear
I love it, but it could, like, I don't know, it's a visual of my keep track because I have it in my notes and stuff. But now I get on there every time. It's like she's done this many weddings in a year. I'm like, go me, go me. Okay, so if I was a bride, explain to me like why would I use AllVeil? What is it? We've explained like the back end, but
so what AllVeil is basically a bridal directory where vendors can go and create an account, put in all the information that a bride would be looking for. So description, website links, Instagram links, their pricing, their price range. So like if they have like different packages, they also have that listed as well. Like you said, like how many weddings they've done. And so each vendor has that when you click on their profile. Has photos, videos, everything that you can need. But for a bride, if you have like a specific style that you're looking for, or if you have a wedding date already in mind, all our filters are dedicated to anything a bride could think of, because I'm that type of person. I have a very specific or different style. So like for instance, venues, we have different style filters. If you're wanting a barn, or if you're wanting something, I think we have it labeled as rustic, or if you're wanting something historical, outdoors, we have all of these different filters to cater like what your style is. Same with budget, you can filter by budget. So if you have a strict budget for what you're wanting your day of coordinator to be, if they don't fit into that budget, they won't show up. So
that's perfect.
Yeah. So brides are able to go on there, and instead of asking in a Facebook group, I'm looking for a DJ, they're able to go on there and find exactly the DJs that they need for their price range. Even we have like styles for DJs. If you're like looking for specific type of music, like you're able to filter it completely and find exactly what you need in your area, which is huge. So, a lot of times too, a lot of times too, what I see is, like you said, vendors are in multiple groups. So you may have a vendor out of Nashville commenting on a West Tennessee group page saying that they're available, which is great. You're going to have to pay the travel fee for that vendor. So if you get on AllVeil, you can put your radius in and only find the vendors that are in your area. So you don't even have to worry about that travel fee.
So you have people pretty scattered around.
Oh yeah. We have hubs that are bigger. We've honestly done really good in East Tennessee. Knoxville, we have a lot of vendors. Gatlinburg, Sevierville, Chattanooga, Middle Tennessee, Lawrenceburg, Nashville, Murfreesboro, Jackson.
Going all over the map in Tennessee.
Yes, we even have some in Georgia that are on the app.
Have we extended to other states?
We have a few. And it's kind of that's been a hard part, like with AllVeil, is figuring out the growth metric. So like we had, we started having like people sign up that were out of state, and I realized I'm only one person. So it's like I have to really hone in on Tennessee first, and the states that are like really close before I can start expanding my time and energy to other ones. But we have, a lot of the vendors that we have out of state are bordering the Tennessee line, and they do a lot of weddings in Tennessee. So like that's the ones in Georgia. They do like a lot of Chattanooga weddings because that's what the city that it like borders. But yeah, no, we are scattered pretty good. So if you are getting married really in any area in Tennessee, we have vendors on there.
You've got them. You've got them taken care of.
Exactly.
So is this all you? Like, are you doing all the marketing, posts, everything yourself?
Yes. It's all me.
That is a huge workload.
It is, and I'm tired, but it's all worth it. And I will say I have a great team of developers who have created the website and maintained it. I joke that I like designed it, but they're just amazing. I couldn't have done one single ounce of coding on that. But when it comes to like marketing and customer service and emails and inquiries and everything like that, it's
here's a powerhouse over here.
Trying my best.
Yes, it's okay. The 5-year plan, it's all gonna work out.
Exactly.
It'll be so worth it.
And I'm really I'm really proud of what we've done.
Oh,
in
yeah, you should be.
2 months.
Yeah.
So, and that's one thing
The
that
growth is insane.
that's one thing that we can get into as well. I know you have like a question about like our vendors and how many vendors and brides we have. But another big thing as to why other vendors were not using different apps was because with different apps, one of our competitors, a very, very big competitor, just got sued this past year for sending out fake leads and getting basically like bot bookings. And so they were getting quote requests in, making it look like brides were reaching out, but they were really just bots. And so that's one thing that we've prided ourselves on, that if you get a quote request in, it's going to be a real bride.
Yeah.
And the reality of if a national company's doing that, that means there may not be as many like bookings coming through as you think there are. But what's great about AllVeil is that we're also kind of a marketing business, because a lot of the bookings that have come through have been brides using the directory because it's free. It's free to create an account and do booking inquiries on there, but it's also free to just browse. So if you don't want to create an account, you can just get on AllVeil and look at what we have and reach out directly if you find that easier. And that's what's happened to at least 5 of our vendors on multiple occasions. They've reached out to me, and thankfully, to my brides who do that, please mention that you found them on AllVeil, because that's what gives us, the clarity of, hey, we're doing this. Like, we're the one that sent those people to you.
I found an AllVeil on my email tag.
But like we've had vendors email and text me just saying like, hey, I had a bride reach out and they told me that they found me on AllVeil.
That's awesome.
So it's like, even if, brides aren't booking directly through it, they're still using it for what it is, which is a directory to reach out. So that's been amazing to see too.
Oh yeah. And there's the package information, pricing, pictures, about me, everything you could need to know about the vendor is right there.
Yep. Which I think is just what brides needed, especially in rural areas, with somewhere to go where you have one place to see everything that you need and not get bombarded with notifications. Because you still, like I said, you still have to sift through those.
Yeah. And I love that it's just a hub. It's not the hub plus you making your website, and you have a planning aspect, and you can, keep your guest list attached. That's too much.
Yeah. Now we do have like growth strategies that we're really excited about. None of those are in, but our goal is, because AllVeil's all about like local vendors. We want local vendors to be found by local brides. Yeah. And so we don't, when you talk about like the website and all of those things, like it's hard to keep that like the main focus of AllVeil as being local. But one thing that we really do once we have the growth to like push forward is one thing that we really want to do is get bridal registries involved. Yes. And instead of having it linked to Amazon and Walmart and Crate and Barrel, like some of our other competitors that go for like big corporations, somehow finding a way to team up with the small mom and pop shops around rural areas and having them be able to put their products on our website and have a link to check out. So like that's like our next step is, how can we grow AllVeil to help out with local shops and local vendors around here? That would be like our next opportunity. Yeah,
I love that. That's great, because I personally get a little bit irritated because I cannot link my local registries to my wedding website. It makes me mad. Like Miles and Bishop, the little great store behind Kaiser's Pharmacy, they have so many cute things. No one's gonna know about it unless they look like on my Facebook post.
Yep, and then you share things and it gets drowned, and so that's one thing that like we really want to figure out how to do, figuring out how to make it easy enough for, shops to be able to, even if it's just like, a bride creating an account and pulling up the registry and, a shop like posting the photos of what they want where they can buy into it. Something like really easy where local shops don't get overwhelmed with the experience of putting their shop on there. But that's 100% the next step we want to take with keeping it local.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So how do vendors begin to join AllVeil?
Really easy. If you go to allveil.com, a pop-up shows up, and you can either log in as a bride or log in as a vendor. So if you click the login as a vendor, you will be able to create an account there. You put in all your information, which is mostly for us to keep up with, like your city, your state, your business name. You set an email, password, and then it'll send you directly to your dashboard. So in your dashboard, you can upload all the photos you want, all the videos you want, get your description, your packages in, fill out all your information for your hub, link your websites, your YouTube channels. Literally, if you have a link, we have a
it's so
thing
simple
for
to
it.
join.
Yep. So like link, whatever you feel like you want to link. And then for vendors, it's $7.99 a month to have an account on AllVeil. For brides, it's free. But so to go public with your account, you have to pay the $7.99 a month to be a vendor on AllVeil. Now you can create your dashboard and have a dashboard, but for you to be on the website, you do have to pay the $7.99. But it's really easy. You literally just create your account.
And I know personally, like I was nervous to get on there and start because before like the fee and everything started, I didn't want my page to be published before I was like finished. And then I saw the little visible to bride tab.
Yes.
So I took probably like 3 weeks just perfecting my page, and then I made it visible. So I love that you can sit there and like have a draft.
Yeah. And that's like another thing with like creating this you just didn't think about. And there's definitely, my developer keeps telling me this because, I mess up sometimes. I make the wrong decisions. And he always tells me, he's like, if this was easy, everybody would have done it. Yes. But it's not easy. You're going to mess up. You're going to like find some things that you didn't see before. Like it is what it is. But so when we created that in my head, I was like, we need this because if they create an account, we don't want a bunch of blank accounts on the website, especially like because we wanted vendors to have a month to see the website live before they paid. I was like, we can't have a bunch of like blank accounts for brides to see. So we made that, which is great. But a lot of our vendors that aren't as tech savvy as you, they either didn't notice the button or didn't click it. And so when we went live, I had some vendors like, check us out on AllVeil. And I was like, you're not on all like you. I was like, you're not public. And so that was like it was when we did the tour here, that's where I like called my developer. I was like, we have to figure this out. Like we have to figure out like, something that we can do. So now we made an update. I was thinking like, oh, this will help vendors. And it did help, but it also hindered some who, put their information in and thought they were visible and they were hidden. So now what we do is if you have all of your information in, like if you have your packages filled out, your photos on, you have a description, it automatically sets you to active if all of those are in. And then you can turn it back off if you're like, oh, wait, I'm not done perfecting this, or but that helped a lot with, vendors who had their profile finished. They just didn't hit the toggle. So, but there's like,
that's such a good fix. I like seeing the processes here.
Yeah. And that's what I'm just like get into it because there's a lot on the back end where it's just like, you just got to figure it out. Like it's like,
I'm fixing to build a Petunias website and it's coming from Wix. It's coming from Wix.
That's what when I first started, I told my developers, I was like, well, I created a Squarespace account. And they're like, this will not be on Squarespace. They're like, you can't have this on Squarespace. I was like, oh, okay. He was like, you can't build a website.
But like Squarespace is even too big for my brain. Yeah. Too big for my brain.
I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, Squarespace can do this. And they're like, Mikayla, no, you cannot do this on Squarespace. I was like, oh, so this is like going to be hard. And they're like, yeah, it's going to be hard. Yes. And so thank God I have them because they really, oh God, I couldn't do any of it.
That's awesome. You have your little team.
Yes. Yeah. But it's like, there's so many like little things that, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the right decision. And then I'll do it. And then, a vendor will like tell me a way to do it better. And then and that's what my vendors, I love them. Some of them will like email me on a Sunday and I'll email them back like 5 minutes later and they're like, why are you working like on this day? I'm like, I literally like, I'm at y'all's beck and call at this point. Like if y'all tell me something needs to be like fixed or better, like I will get it done. And it's like, because y'all know what y'all need, I'm helping to like create it. But
I've emailed you twice and I think within like 20 minutes, my problem was fixed.
Yeah. And that's what I try to do, but like really there was a lot like with getting it you know, to the live point. And
Yeah.
that's where I was like listening to y'all the most. But now like it's been really smooth sailing, and my developers are like, thank God you haven't been texting me as much as you need to. So that's been amazing. Like, it's like I told Wes, one of my developers out there, I said, I think it's perfect now. And he's like, thank God. I'm glad it's perfect.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like you said, it's just me. So it's been very fun, and it's also been very challenging, and I'm really proud of it. You know, to be honest, like I really am.
It's very impressive,
Thank
especially to have like started in April last year and be as big as it is right now.
Thank
Like,
you.
do you know about how many vendors, brides we have on there?
So as of
and I know
right
a lot
now,
of people like, you know, just view as guests.
oh
but-
yeah. So as of right now, we have over 105 vendors that are active live paying.
Okay. Heck yeah.
And then we have, and that's where it gets tricky because we have a lot of vendors who have created accounts,
Mhm.
but they haven't finished their dashboard. So it's like every day I'm like looking on the website and I'm like, oh, there's a new one that, you know, has, you know, decided to log in and finish their account. So it's like every day we're getting like, you know, some that have signed up and like are just finishing
and
their
new
account.
vendors see it every day.
Yes.
So.
And so we have 105 vendors that are currently active on the website. And then we've had about 30 brides who have created accounts. And then we've had, God, in the past month, we've had over 1,500 people get on the website. So that's, you know, we've had a lot of brides who have just come on there to view and then reach out directly. And
so worth the $7.99 a month.
Yeah, thank you. And that's what one of the things too. I was talking to a lot of, you know, vendors will message me either like on my personal account or on my public, like all the time.
Yeah.
And so I had a vendor message me about joining, and I was like, what I want vendors to understand is, one, the more vendors we get, the more this grows, because the more options brides have, the more they're going to want to come to it. So that's why I constantly push it to vendors. But two, I am marketing you guys. I will continue, like what I do for AllVeil social media is I basically like go through and I'm like, okay, what category have I not posted in a few weeks? And then I'll post that one once a week. So it's like
and you share a lot of my stuff too.
Yes, that's what I try my best in my head. I try my best to share my vendors' content 5 times a day, whether that's me reposting it on Instagram, reposting it on Facebook, or posting it to our stories. If I see you post on our business account, I'm going to repost it. So there's a lot of like things like that we do to help grow you guys, as well as, you know, having you on the directory. And that's the reason why we came up with the $7.99 price point for vendors, is because number one, I had a lot of people tell me, they were like, this needs to be more expensive. And I was like, the whole point is for vendors of all sizes to be able to afford it. And so my thought process is, it's an iced coffee from Starbucks once a month. You know, if you go to Starbucks and you get a grande iced coffee, it's going to end up being around $7.99 a month. So and when I said that, people were like, really? And I'm like, yes, because everyone gets an iced coffee. So if you can afford an iced coffee a month, you can afford to be on AllVeil. And I think that that's the perfect, you know, thing for me.
I got a quote from another website, and it was around $300 a month. $300 a month, excuse me?
Here's the thing. There's one of our competitors who is that expensive a month, which is why I cannot find anything on there. And then there's another competitor who advertises being free to vendors, which is great. When I was doing all this research, I was figuring out so much as to why vendors aren't getting on our competitors' websites. And so when I looked into it more, it is free to be on their website. However, it's not free to talk to brides. So you're having to spend every time you message a bride, it adds up money. So like I saw a vendor make a post in a bunch of the groups probably about 2 months ago and was like, I'm spending like $50 to $100 a month messaging back brides, and I don't even know if they're real, and they're not booking. So it's free unless you start talking to brides. And so that's one. And I will say to, you know, I'm not going to say like protecting them. But I do understand why they do that, which is the reason why AllVeil doesn't. And it's something that we could, you know what? No, we're not even going to look into that. But I understand why they do it, because if you open up messaging on your website, there's a lot of legal that is on your side. So if it's, you know, if a vendor says something like inappropriate, or a bride or a couple says something inappropriate, like in the messages, the website is then liable. So I understand why they charge, because what they're charging for is the security to review those messages. And that's why it's so expensive. So I get why they do it. But again, that's why AllVeil doesn't do it, because it does get pricey.
Yeah.
And we want to keep it, you know, as cheap as possible for vendors. And so that's why we have it to where you get the quote request in your dashboard, but you reach out directly. It's on you to, you know, handle the quotes. And it's because if we had the messages in the website, we would have to charge more. And we don't want to charge more. So I get it, but that's why AllVeil's different. Is because we don't want it to be more expensive. So
no, I think it's perfect. Like that, I can afford that. I don't worry about spending that.
Yeah.
It's on my card every month. It's not even a thought in my brain.
Yeah.
Like
and that's why we did it, because it, again, like I wanted it to be cheap enough to where vendors didn't think about it. And that's, you know, that's just how we wanted it to be. So
love it. Affordability in a world that's not affordable.
Yeah, we're trying. Well, and it's so funny. Okay. It's so funny because this will probably be clipped. But we're $7.99 a month for our vendors. So it's not very expensive. It's also not very much money coming in for me right now until we grow. And we've had 4 bookings for our vendors. And when I totaled up how much it was, they paid for AllVeil. One of them paid for AllVeil 5 years in advance. Another one paid for AllVeil 3 years in advance. And I was like, and one of them is my best friend who's gotten a couple of bookings through AllVeil.
Yeah.
And she was, and she told me like what she was charging. I was like, y'all are doing way better than I am right now, because I was like, you know, I'm charging, you know, $7.99, but it's to help you guys. Like if I can help y'all get bookings, that will eventually have us grow like to where we need to be. But it's like, you know, it's just hilarious, because I'm like, I got $7.99 from y'all this month, but y'all got like $3,000 from us, you know? And so it's like, but it does, like, it makes it worth it to vendors, you know? And that's like, again, that's why we did it that cheap, because
we'll have an AllVeil Christmas party and like I'll bring you a present.
I would love that. Thank you. But it was just so funny because like my mom asked, she was like, oh wow, how many bookings does she have this year? And I told her, I was like, yeah, she's doing way better than AllVeil is, because she got $2,000, you know, like up front, you know. But that's what we want to do, is we want to help y'all get those bookings, you know. So it's just hilarious. Like $7.99 versus $2,000.
Oh, absolutely. And it makes my price seem more, like you said earlier, people can see how many I've booked, so it makes my price more understandable. They're not being like, why is she charging this much? It's because I worked this many weddings and I'm very confident and I'm paying an assistant, and you have all this information right in front of you now.
Exactly. So. That's what, because one of our DJs got a booking, and I was like, I looked at my husband and said, he paid for AllVeil for the next 3 years. Yeah. If he kept that money and just like used it, I mean, he literally doesn't have to pay for AllVeil for 3 years. Like, but that's why we do it. You know, that's why we do it. We want y'all to get more bookings. And
and in 3 years from now, what will AllVeil look like?
God, hopefully great.
It'll be massive.
Hopefully great. Yeah, that's the goal. That's what I truly believe.
Yes. So. Yeah. I'm excited. to see
Thank
what
you.
To come. Okay, so what's been your favorite part of this whole process?
Honestly, the vendors.
Really?
I have made so many like amazing connections, and literally how stressed I have been the last 6 months when I hear like one person tell me, you know, like, it's so user friendly. It's like worth it. Everything I did.
Yeah,
like,
it is truly. It's so user friendly.
I've had like 6 vendors tell me that, and I was like, okay, great. Everything that I have stressed about has 100% been worth it the entire time. Or just like a vendor come up to me and is like, I'm loving the platform. Like, this is amazing. Immediately, like, love it. Or, you know, someone even just saying like, I loved my post that you made. Like all of those things, like just like keep me motivated to keep going and keep pushing. And like genuinely, like when I see a quote request come through, because I get the emails, I just like, you know, I like cheer. Like I'm like, I'm genuinely like rooting for all of y'all. And like, I try to tell people that like the difference between joining AllVeil and joining, you know, another like mega corporation competitor is that I'm the one emailing you. Like I'm the one cheering you on. I'm the one making the posts.
This
like
is AllVeil.
This and it's like I'm the one that's like y'all's cheerleader through everything. And like we've even had like brides message me and I'm like and like say like, you know, do you have any like recommendations for this? Like I want to be like Tennessee's hub for like all of you guys. Like, you know, the hub to finding like everything you need, because it is so stressful and weddings are so expensive. So if you can have something that makes that so much easier, like that's our goal, because I was so stressed out. And so honestly, just the vendors is my favorite part. And then just watching it grow. It's just been, I've been like a little proud mama, like, you know, watching it blossom. And I'm very, if I have my mindset on something, it's going to happen. That's how I've been my entire life. And so it's one of those things, I'm sure you feel this with Petunias planning. It's like, and I'm sure all my vendors feel this way, but it's like, once my name was tied to it, it's not going to fail.
Oh yeah.
Because I put it out there. You know, once your name's attached to something, I always tell my family this, it's not going to fail because it can't fail. Yeah, like in my head,
like this is mine.
Yeah, it can't. Like I won't let it. So it's like, you know, just being like super proud of like what we've accomplished so far and stuff.
No, Granny Mikayla will be sitting at the table one day showing her grandkids. Like this is how you run AllVeil.
Listen, kids, you're not letting this thing. Yeah, you're not letting this thing go anywhere.
No, so I love it. So what do you think has been the hardest part?
God,
all of it.
Let me just get my scroll out. I'm just kidding. The hardest part has definitely been one, oddly not legal. Just because you are creating a website that a lot of people are getting on and a lot of different people. So that was like the trademark of it all, the lawyers, like making sure, like, I know it sounds stupid. Like our terms and conditions aren't very long, but and I'm only charging $7.99 a month. So if we like, you know, if anything were to happen, like that's detrimental. So it's like, we had to go through like a lot of like things to make sure that
I would have
like,
never even thought about that either.
I didn't want to think about it because it was like also the most expensive part. And I honestly pushed it off a little bit, and that's on me. But that was the hardest part, just going through the legality of it all, the trademarks. Like I just got like a trademark notification this weekend. I've been fighting trademarks for like a month. And so like, that's been like very difficult. So the legal trademark of it all, everything like that. Two, just making the right decisions. Yeah. Figuring out like,
you're in new waters.
Yeah. Cause I come from a bride aspect. I also, before I started this, I did videography for weddings on the side, and I do not do that anymore. Do not book me. I'm already like stressed enough. Yeah. But, so I had like a little bit of a vendor perspective, but just like making the right decisions, like, you know, figuring out what you guys need most, like in a platform, was like pretty difficult. But number 3 too, I've had to also be a saleswoman, which has been really hard, like balancing marketing, customer service, and sales all in one while still working full time. And that's been prioritizing like what time goes into what has been pretty difficult. Honestly, it's not hard to sell AllVeil. It's just hard finding the time to sell AllVeil. But yeah, those have been definitely like the hardest parts of it. But again, it's all worth it. It's all worth it. I don't complain ever.
Valid hard parts.
Yeah,
valid hard parts. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Totally. I would have taken so much longer to accomplish this, just because mentally I freak out over every little detail.
Honestly, my developers probably wish that I took longer. We
were on it.
I told them, I said, we need this done after New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Like right after New Year's Eve.
Yep.
And they're like, wait,
Deadline.
what? Yeah, they were like, wait, what, why? And I said, because engagements happen over the holidays.
Yep.
And I said, we're going to have engaged people in February. And I said, so we need this done by February. And they're like,
smart though.
They were like,
Logistical thinking.
thank you. But they were like, what? And I was like, let's get to work. Like, and that's something that people don't know too, is that like every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m., I was having developers meetings until 8 p.m.
Oh my goodness,
so I was working all day. And then after work, I would have to get all the marketing done for the week, get everything figured out, message vendors, please join, all these things. And then I had like 4 hours a week
you
of
have
meetings.
A full-time job on top of this.
Yes, and I do. Yeah. And I'm a marketing manager.
Yeah.
So
yeah, lots of busy work.
Yeah, my screen time is ridiculous. Like ridiculous. Yeah. I told Caleb, I was like, I need to start reading. And I was like, I hate my screen time. He was like, Mikayla, you work on your phone. Yeah. Like he was like, there's nothing you can do about it. Like when AllVeil like first launched, I would literally come to Caleb probably about like 9 or 10 p.m. and be like, my vision's blurry. Because I've been staring at my phone all afternoon, editing, like reaching out to people. And he was like, you're going to need like blue light glasses. Like he was like, your vision's going to go if you keep staring at your phone like this.
It. Like I'll be at home and I'll try to like get on TikTok and then I'm right back to like making templates on Canva.
Yeah. It's hard. Yep. But it has honestly, like the workload has been a lot better since we launched because I don't have to have the developer meetings anymore. I don't have to worry about like fixes. Like I don't have to worry about like, things done. Like that. It's done. It's done until we add more things.
Yeah. So what would you give, what advice would you give to a new bride who is just starting their process with planning?
One, I would figure out your budget.
Okay.
Figure out how you want to allocate it, because that was something that I really wish I would have looked at more. I feel like I would have had a lot more room for vendors if I would have allocated the money a little better. Mm-hmm. And so figure out your budget, figure out what you want to spend for each category, and then go on AllVeil. Yeah. So that's all you have to do at this point. Yeah, that's literally all you have to do is go on AllVeil. Figure out your budget. Obviously book the ones that you love, like that you already know, and then just go on AllVeil. That's literally why we made it.
Yeah. Share with all your vendor buddies.
Yep, exactly.
So how do people find you? AllVeil.com?
Yep, AllVeil.com. All of our socials are AllVeil Co. Someone already had AllVeil. It's like a spam account.
And you're on everything? You're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook?
God. Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, YouTube. But AllVeil.com. That's really the best way to find us. It's the best way to get a picture of what we're doing. For vendors, Instagram's really good. Seeing how we market, our vendors and stuff. So
awesome. Yeah, well, all that will be linked below. Thank you so much for coming and
thanks for
talking
letting
to me. This was exciting.
About my company.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Like the vendors are obviously fun, but like this is so new and exciting. I was so glad when you were like, yes, I'll come. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love this. I'm excited to see where AllVeil goes.
AllVeil.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we're excited too. Thank you guys. Y'all go check out allveil.com, and we're excited to see everyone. Until next time, let's bloom, babes.